expected it to be syrup because it was in like an olive or what's it called?
That kind of bottle.
Yeah,
Sure.
same bottle that my balsamic comes in.
Gotcha. Right. Think we got everything. Everyone's got their miniatures. Yeah, yours. Your whole kits are. Yeah, there.
Oh, I see it's in there. Very nice.
Yeah, you got yours. Very good. Welcome back, everybody, to Crimson Tequila and Strahd, where we promise 100% more cards, rock or otherwise. And with that, who would care to? Never mind, there was no last session. Never happened. On that note, tonight we join our faithful adventurers as they find themselves all across this foul land, this dark place, a realm unlike any other, a pocket dimension of terrible tribute to a dark lord, terrible in its own right, for many terrible things. With that, we join upon where we see the familiar forms of our long gone and yet returned heroes Ollie and Gorik, as they have found themselves traveling about these wastes in the time since, unsure of where to go, unsure of what to do, until they happened upon one of the oddest things in all they could find in Barovia, the colorful Vistani, the encampment by a waterfall nearby the village proper. Here they have found respite, rest, and some camaraderie in the few colorful patrons of the seemingly only semi-permanent encampment of the Vistani across all the land. You've been here for some days. You've been resting, taking stock of the whole of the land, making excursions out and exploring the nearby areas, having visited the village here and there, simply to see what there is to see at an extent that is the same distance. You haven't actually gone into the village of Barovia proper, simply sticking to the outskirts, kind of getting accustomed and acclimated to this place over here. Now, yourself having been from here, you visited upon the Sur encampment probably once or twice to trade textiles or dyes and inks from various places, things that you might have crushed up in various vegetations. Yourself, of course, having come to this land from God knows wheres, and having God knows what for motivation, have decided that really to sit on your laurels in a nice place like this is not terrible. Besides, with all the fresh food that they offer, you haven't gone for want in days thus far. But so it is that all good things come to an end, as this fateful evening, as the Vistani dance about and conduct themselves with the celebratory mood that they do every evening, you find yourselves a little uneasy as the new presence enters into the camp this night. Right. As the fire roars away and the various figures dance about, the men and women celebrating with music, song, and fresh food on the fire, you find yourselves still at unease as this new presence rolls in, where you see upon it many different sorts of accoutrement, many different sorts of decorations, all of them baubles of great value that you can see dangling upon. And inside, you can see the simple form of a gaunt old woman, robust in her many robes, as she sits aside a table upon which she pours over what seems to be a crystalline sphere. You can see this clearly through the large, sort of almost full-size window beside this covered double-wide wagon that rolls in and sets itself up. You've seen many other wagons come through this place in the last however long that you've been here, a few days, let's say 2.5 or so. But the point being is that of them all, most are drab, most are fairly humble, meager means and such. The odd robustness here is their specialty if they're a merchant or a tradesman. This particular one seems as royalty, if there were such a thing amongst the Vistani's ranks. The old lady inside does not look towards you, does not acknowledge you, or anybody else for that matter, although many others you hear whispers around the encampment acknowledge her as she rolls in, and her many staff, you suppose, jump from the wagon's sides and begin to set up this thing with a bit of an awning and a little seating area that comes out with a rug from the main door of the wagon. The horses are led away and join the rest of the many that are situated at whatever tethers around the camp, and the cattle, of course, do their thing, which is nothing. The peoples continue to do the dance that they do every evening in celebration of the bounty that they are about to enjoy, as you look upon this wagon and feel a strange draw towards it. Although you're not sure where it comes from, both of you sense something. However that manifests within it, be it destiny or a guiding light, perhaps an attraction, a magnetism. But regardless, you find yourselves amidst friends, you know, while in the pit of your stomach, a knot begins to grow as you stare upon the wagon.
I'll lean in towards a friend and ask them what they know about this person.
The nearby fellow by the name of Rostova looks over towards you and says, "Oh, that is Madam." Or no, sorry, Madam. Jesus Christ, holy crap. Not Madam Esmeralda. Oh my god, just totally tapped out. Hi, Louis. Have you played this game before? God. Sorry. What's your fucking name all of a sudden? Which is went completely blank.
Where are we?
Holy crap. Alright, that's weird. That is Madam Ava, he says. And as he says so, it's, the door opens up and you see simply on the door it says EVA with a bit of a crest around it. And it says underneath it's something in gilded gold that you can just catch at the edge of your perception. It says fortunes, fates, and your is it 5 silver a reading?
Over a palm reading?
It says reading.
He's a mystic?
It says it doesn't have a shape of a hand or a palm or anything like that. It's Ava, and the crest itself is kind of trying to put like a fleur-de-lis double over.
I have a feeling this will our answers. Correct.
Yeah, should we check it out? He goes.
Definitely.
Should we ask her?
For 5 silver.
Should we hook her up? See if she'll tell us something. Yeah, we can
Gotta
walk up
tell
to. We can go walk up to her. We can go up to her your trailer there and ask her for the details. Knock, knock, knock. We're here for a reading.
The door's wide open. You think you guys are kind of like rattles back and forth. And as you're approaching, you spot out of the corner of your eye with your high-ass perception an older fellow, a figure that had joined your camp some time ago, with a colorful wagon that stood out somewhat as a bit of a circus sort of carnival affair. On the side of his wagon, he's got Rectavios simply emblazoned out. And the old man himself is a capable bard, a lyricist that he's given some poetry over the last little while. But as he approaches upon and simply watches you guys barge up to the doorway, rattling it and banging, Madam Ava herself doesn't move, isn't startled, and her form figure just sits stoically as a mound of complete and robust royal robes of all sorts of colors and shades, and gilded trim and a mass as a singular hand simply rises and she beckons you in with 2 fingers. Her voice resonates and echoes out despite all the cloth that should otherwise mute the sound against her as she says, "Enter, children."
Do we enter? Do we go in?
Oh,
Yeah, we go in. Chat with her. What are you doing here with all these travelers? Are these your family?
You enter in a bond. As you enter in a bond and place, you find yourself doing this, slouching somewhat because of the place. Ollie, you find one of the chairs shunts itself over as Madame Ava does a little bit of a gesture to open a seat for you, and then a moment later does the same for Korik as this singular seat to the right disappears into the darkness, and she draws forward a more robust, larger seat from said darkness towards the table. You see in the center of the table, which is covered with a purple, royal-looking cloth, a large sphere of crystal with several tendrils of energies and arcanic powers and whatnot, who's to say, sparkling about inside it. The whole of it refracting light in all directions as you see Madame Ava's singular eye inside her large, robust nose seeking out upon you as she looks through it to see up against you. Looking into the thing for a moment, you see pictures and images of memories that you're thinking of, thought of, you're not quite sure. But as you stare into that orb for a brief second, you find yourself lost in whatever thoughts that it might have invoked and portrayed back to you visually. As Madame Ava simply stares through it for a moment and then pulls back, her massive mound of robes simply slips off to reveal her large mane of curly black hair and several baubles hanging in it as her ears pop out from amidst them, themselves also gilded in whatever gems and gold and rings and such. As she gives a bit of a cackling giggle, she says, "It has been some time since the fated have come to my hall, and yes, many of them are my. You find yourself a long ways away." As she stares around, her white eyes, you realize, reveal her to be either partially or completely blind. As she stares against the ball and then looks towards you, not directly at you, but through you. "It has been some time since I have such fated in my land. Yes, my family is all over. Many of them you will find of use to you, and many of them wayward, follow that which their hearts desire. That is to say, the darkness this land offers. A pact that we were fortunate enough to have with the Lord of the Darkness. It has served us well, but it serves ill in its own way. A double-edged blade.
So you're saying you serve Strahd?
I do not,
I'm good.
but I do not oppose him either. I am simply an element of this land, as anything. You will come to learn that I am not objective, but I am not. I seek those as yourselves to provide this land with the lifeblood and influence it required, just as his lordship. But you are new to all this, but perhaps not to influence, perhaps not to tribal influences. She leans forward as the crystal ball kind of strikes out and flashes and flourishes. She says, "What is it that you feel brought you here to this strange place?" She's just kind of doing this wispy thing as her hands are all gnarled, rings flash back and forth against the lights coming out of
You tell me. You're the one with the crystal ball.
She looks over towards you. The fates, they are complicated and complex, and she stares into the ball some further. She stares at you as she moves her hands around the ball some further and says, "What is it that you feel brought you here, Ollie? Why is it that you are here at my side?" Moments pass as the tendrils inside the crystal ball snap and whirl about. A maelstrom inside as lightning flashes out within the crystal ball. She stares at you incessantly, time seeming to stand still. She searches your souls, roving over, and finally, after all is gone in the moment, she says, "So you have no answer, no direction. Is that what you find? To find a natural course? To derive what fate might seek for you?"
I'm just here to. I'm here to serve nature.
As she does one of these with the crystal ball, it sprouts a bunch of forestry inside, and as the camera pans against this landscape of Barovia, it's recognized is stretching away from the pinpoint of light that is the Zerg Falls and encampment, across past Ravenloft and across even further. As she says, "Even now there are forces at play that seek to stop you, though you yourselves have no idea of the direction you take. It is," and she does one of these as the camera kind of whirls about and shows several strange landmarks in kind of a rapid successive montage of what looks to be a strange temple and then a strange statue that you see with a faceless, sort of morphic god-like thing in a dramatic sort of pose, and then it cuts out to this large fortress that you recognize as Argon Mustel, and see the dragon as it goes flying past in its massive, mighty form, and then back over towards you all, and she says, I can sense many coming for us. This camp is not safe, but it is not for Strahd, but for those of his followers that seek to do his bidding. This a tragedy of all. She says as she looks over towards you, but in the meantime, I will provide what direction I can, for as a force of nature, you have the power to direct many a course of event. Herein, we see that there is Land, the ancient. He, the darkness, must be vanquished.
Oh,
And
you think you can talk to that cow? Tell that cow to go get our friends? Can you
as
do
she
that?
Shh, I'm listening.
silences, as she silences Corric with a word, she says, Destiny does not tarry, does not wait, and does not wane. If you wish to perish thoughtlessly, then this will be your fate, lest you listen. And listen closely, my friends.
Okay. You caught my attention.
As she looks over towards you and says, there are many secrets to this land, and I find that as I search through, many of its secrets have been discovered. Many keys have already been found to the locks of which you do not know. I will give you the rest of your direction, the rest of your keys. I hope that perhaps we can find that the forces of nature will coalesce and see this land released from its curse. As she looks about for a moment, and kind of mage hands in a deck of cards, the whole of them kind of fly in, do the thing there. As they arrange themselves, floating up in front of you guys for a brief moment, she watches into the crystal balls. You see them just kind of like shove themselves in front of you. I was going to actually string them up, but it got ridiculous. Okay, they do the thing. They do the thing.
They're dancing in the
Oh,
air.
yeah. All sorts of
Sacred
I've
Harry,
got the
swords.
vision.
totally.
Amazing.
Harry Potter, you grab this. J.K. Rowling, you grab it. Anyhow, that said, after a brief moment, a bunch of them separate themselves out because it's prep work. And as they separate themselves out, she simply says, these following thoughts oddly are of a set for which we are missing but two. For there are others fated in this land who have already found these keys, as I have said. And I wish to say, as she like wafts against the crystal ball, and as she does so, she just gives it like a quick turn, and you watch several portraits of people that you've seen and recognized flash past. And amongst them, she focuses on one that you see. This man, Firebeard, is a friend that you have met and traveled with, yes? He holds two of the particular secrets, and yourselves have come close to them. She suddenly drives the thing further, and it flies out to Ravenloft again as you watch it focus in through a window, and it shows a pasty figure with his abs exposed to the moonlight, and past him where he's holding onto the little hand of the bard that you were traveling with some time ago. What was his name? He was famous somehow, but not so much maybe. Regardless,
Brent Flinger?
as you did say this and realize that you've been silenced, Madame Ava drops the silence. Would you say again? She drops it on you and says, say your piece, yeah. At which point, yeah. She confirms it and says, if this is who it is, yes? The now to be infamous Limerick Sneezlord of Barovia.
What's happened to her?
There are so many questions to be answered and so little time. With this, I give you the answers to the next stages of that which you seek. There is a man, a bold man, of great power and repute, who seeks out the secrets as well. And you see like a long mustache in the crystal ball, and it pulls back to show like a tattooed head, similar to Firebeard's, before pulling back further to show a large, robust-looking older fellow, clearly dyes his hair, or what little mustache hair he has. You imagine where it was. And she said, this man here seeks to have secrets revealed to him. But for what purpose, it is impossible to say. I would not trust this. His follower holds 2 keys already. I cannot this too. She then pulls back to say, there is a man who can shed light on your battle with darkness. He is of humble and meager means, but he is of great spirit, stalwart throughout his lineage. I sense that he is close, and would say, as she pans across the crystal ball for a moment, there's a foggy figure that comes out of the mist of all these tendrils and lightning, and you see what looks to be a short, cropped-haired fellow that you've never met before. This man, he is a friend to the betrothed Queen of Thunders, the once coveted. She stares and kind of grows distance as she says this, and then gives her head a shake as one of the cards drops down. And then she says, but this man alone will not be able to help you in the fight. He has the strength to help you, guide you, but you will need the equipment, the weapons. And with this I say, Firebeard has the first of these.
It's Firebeard, right? Yeah.
Yes. As she says, however, there is a battle, as I say, with the bald man and a performer. She gives a smile. She grows distant for a moment, and you see her stumble, like as she tries to say something and it doesn't come out right. But then she regains her composure and says, it seems that there was a toy in the midst of the battle. It is now stolen and revealed. And this performer, yes, it is secreted away. I see a wizard's tower upon a lake. Therein you shall use the master's name as servant to find this holy icon that will help you vanquish the darkness. It will protect you.
Where can we find it?
Seek the lake and the wizard's tower, and you shall find this. Remember. Oh shit, right on, Jess. Thanks, man. You're a pizza company. With that said, she then turns and says, but this, as she gives a whirl of the sphere, you see a large star shape show up, and a pendant necklace grow out from it as it shines out and explodes with like a bunch of sparks, like a cheesy old 80s cartoon. But in the center of it, you can see a red gem glow as the rest of the onyx sort of spherical estoile, if you will, just many pointed estoile, sprouts into being and spins for a moment like a coin as sparks just kind of fly off it. And after it's finished, it kind of disappears. She says, this you will seek and find to protect you as you battle for victory. Know that there is a book nestled, and she gives another whirl of the spheres. You see the book she uses to describe this large tome with on the front of it, it's got a spread raven, spread upon it, basically the crest of Ravenloft, but it looks like it's a stitched in actual raven. And she says, you will find the history, the knowledge of the ancient, to better understand your enemy, residing with he, the prince. Ah, yes. The sleeping prince, servant of light, the brother of darkness. His knowledge lies with him. As she gives the sphere another whirl, she says, the last of these details to be concerned with. Know this, then. Does she, as you seek upon the darkness, there is merely the detail of where your fated encounter will occur. Where will lightning strike? She looks at you, and she looks over. Where will you sprout right down upon and grow over this curse so that it may be finally interred? And the fates say that you will find this man in of all places. That place. She stares into the crystal ball as she finally says, a library. A place of much knowledge. He will be in his, and the camera cuts from you guys and shows Escher as he's leaning out, arms exposed, and yourself just standing nearby as you watch, and he says, in his study, love. That's where you will have to potentially find him, I'd imagine, if you're ever to get the drop on something like that. I can't imagine any other way to see this place released is to simply ambush him and see him. And there are ways. I think your friend Firebeard has them in his possession. The first of the many weapons and artifacts that he's hidden around this place. It's not going to be easy if we're going to see this world released from this terrible affliction.
So you're saying that there's somebody who has one of these artifacts in this library?
So as you say this to Madame Eva, she gives a nod. Yes, child. Yes, that you seek this way of striking upon the darkness, so that we may shed light in the world. You will find it in seven. Seek ye the wizard's tower upon it. Seek the sleeping prince of light. He, the brother of darkness, holds the knowledge you seek. And seek fire, for he has the sword of vengeance, the sword of Lucky's vengeance, with which to vanquish that darkness. These three things, and the man I speak of, he shall help you in searching out and locating Strahd. Although, surely he will not assist you until other matters. And she kind of trails off and stares into you. Yes. She simply responds after a moment.
Did you get all that written down there, Ollie?
I thought that.
All those clues?
I thought Court has the one of them.
You get the clues written down?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, does he?
Like
Oh.
that cross-shaped tilt thing
Do
that
you
we
have
found
that?
locked in
Do
that
you have that?
box.
He has that?
You have that, right?
Hmm?
That the cross sword hilt thing that we found locked in that box.
From the when we burnt down that
The hut.
The
that hut?
Do you have that thing from that?
It was in our. I think so. It was in our chariot there. We had it. We were carrying it in the chariot with us. I don't remember getting. I don't remember getting open. I don't remember getting the box open, but we got the box.
I remember you just got the thing.
got the thing. We
What is
talked
it?
about this with Radley last week.
Yes.
Alright.
As you guys are banding, Escher looks over towards you. And actually, sir, what are you doing at this point?
I'm snoring.
That's right.
It was like on this chair. It's like reclined and was like passed out.
Have you something so you can't hear us?
There's
I have like dragon claws.
Like to try some protein mix?
I would say there's like a vampire spawn that's nearby. And the next.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I'm in their room still. I've learned to ignore what they do.
that's fair. I just want to mention, you're actually sitting on a bed of +2 swords.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a bed of.
It's comfortable.
I'm imagining stuff.
It's
So-
a good dream.
As Escher looks over to the fever factor, as Escher looks over towards you and says, "But I haven't asked you if, and I can't ask this any other way." And in the brief moment,
You just babysit that.
as Escher stares at you and twists one of his own nipples, he simply says, "I need an honest answer," and drops charm.
Uh-oh.
I was charmed again.
I mean, I don't know. Actually, this has been like a while. Their charm lasts. It doesn't last 24 hours. Actually, I think his.
It hasn't affected you. You're already
No,
charmed.
I'm already.
Well,
I mean,
Wait, what question did you just ask? I was pouring.
No worries. Well, he was getting up to it, and then but the point being, as it was, so the question was, I haven't asked the most important question of all, and that is simply put, will you help me kill Strahd?
Of course, Asher, I would do anything for you, my love.
As he looks over toward the corner, I'm assuming that your friend could help.
I'm not conscious. you wake me up.
I look over to him and all of a sudden I start salivating and like, as long as I don't eat him.
As he looks upon you, he says, "Tonight there will be a celebration, a gathering. You can already hear the guests arrive. If you look out, you can see the lights there. The castle will be full of bodies, if you want to call them that. One could call them sensibly and sanely. In any event, it will be a party. And you'll be called upon to perform, and I want you to perform your heart out. But I want you to be ready. I want to tell you, I've given you a gift, but I have taken something away." And as he sits back, you see his eyes well up, red building at the corners as streaks and streams of red begin to fall down at the sides, and says, "I should have asked, but I didn't expect to feel this way. You can never see sunshine again, Flinder. But you will live forever at my side if you choose."
As long as I'm with you, Asher, nothing else matters.
With that, the camera kind of pulls back from the window as it shows the two silhouettes embrace, I'm assuming. But he leads them, so pointing. As we see the whole of the castle from above, we see bodies beginning to hit the floor. Don't tap me. I love the song. But we will get to that part. Point being, you see figures start to fill, coming in upon the place, coming in to populate the whole of the castle with the many strange and odd affairs that make up what is to be tonight's gathering. Bye-bye. Alright, I'll leave that one. I've got another one. How many has you got? 50. So, as we were... Stand. I order you.
Oh, spooky ghosts.
Oh, yes. All that which I tried to describe last week, we will do with, figures. So I don't know the concept of prep and all that. All sorts of strange form figures filling out this massive place, this sort of guests only a vampire lord can love. As the whole of the castle is slowly filling up, you come to fully rested. You guys are all fully rested with that one.
Are we still with Ava here?
You are 100%. You guys here, they all here. Castle Strahd.
Does Ava know anything about what's going on up there and what they're regarding anything?
That's an excellent question. Would you like to ask Ava?
Yeah, I'm asking.
And with that,
Ava, what's the
Ava
beef?
looks upon you as she looks over towards Ollie as well. And after a moment, looks into the crystal ball and gives it a whirl as you find yourselves flying up above the whole of Land of Barovia and coming down to like a satellite view. But, by Maple Bay, where it's like flying in close to everything and being all dramatic and shit. Point being is, you see the whole of Ravenloft filled up with all the various spiritual bodies and corpusculent figures and forms, these massive sort of centipedes of flesh that make their way around the place, slimely all over it. Amidst them, you see the sort of undead that you're typically used to, with a couple of strange differences. They are well dressed. They are dripping in gold and gems. They look like they're intelligent. They look like they're present and, moreover, magically effective in ways that you'd never imagined, as they simply glow or emit sparks and fog. And as the camera pans against, Madame Ava simply looks at it and gives a. But it seems that the darkness is celebrating. What for, I could not say, but it is true that he is, in fact, happy, as one might imagine a Dark Lord could be. That is simply not miserable, I should think. And amidst them, the whole of the mass of bodies and whatnot, you find the camera pans in amidst and all around the place as the doors swing open here, and it shows amidst them a singular figure standing at the head of his organ, his pipe organ. This could be pipe organ. Fuck it. That'll work. As he's situated amidst his pipe organ and has in his mask a simple glass of some red as he stares amongst everybody and simply gives a smile towards the spheroid.
Your book was almost read.
It's been worse. I believe there was tequila, everyone. Point being is that as the camera pans upon him, and he simply gives a smirk, and his eyes go purple brightly as he stares at the spheroid view, and Madame Ava simply gives the sudden reek. Her whole consciousness seems to zap for a moment as the spheroid itself shatters in half. It cracks and crashes, and she gives her scream, and then a moment later, she shakes it off to simply say, That was not. He is more powerful. Why? She says. Why? She says again. How? She says. What? She says. And looks upon you, and then looks at the cracked spheroid and gestures. As she utters the words for mending, nothing happens. The pieces slowly slide apart as if insult to injury. The camera pans against the whole of the wagon and comes back through the window to show you guys. Do you see anything?
Do you have any idea what happened?
He has grown in strength. She looks very perturbed as she stares down and says, he has so much strength already, but he has stagnated all these centuries. He has recycled and repeated. He is now. And she simply says, he has never grown.
How much stronger do you think he is?
But this is alarming. You must hurry. You must find these pieces. You know what you must do, and to do it, I can give you some assistance. The Vistani here mostly can be completely trusted. Perhaps not with coin, but with your bodies and minds. If you wish to see through to any part of Barovia, we can see you transported there safe. In the meantime, though, as we see this night, there is much ado in the castle. I bid you perhaps to seek this friendly, to seek the company of this Firebeard, and find these keys that you may have the set. Got to catch them all.
Do you think we would stand a chance for like castle and whatever is happening there?
She simply says,
Do you have anybody that we can bring with us, or any of your friends, keen fighters that are for hire? Can we convince any of your people there to come with us, or are they all weaklings?
she says, my people will see to it. My people can see to it that you are disguised and prepared for your entry into the castle. And they can see that you are entered in without difficulty, inserted upon the many there. I feel that there are more than likely a few of us already in attendance. And with that, she kind of leans back, getting up. As you sense she's a bit short of breath, as she pulls up the shawls one after the next. 76 shawls later, she finishes and ties them together and says, you may seek out Benowith just outside these gates, and he will see that you are taken there when you are ready. You will be disguised as Vistani and brought upon. You may be asked to perform. However, Do your best to fit in, she simply says after a moment as she stares at you, and you see she sees the reflection of herself in your tusk. It's a moment later, and I say, sorry.
I was just gonna say we shouldn't waste time then. Should
Take
get going.
Benowit with us and rush over to the castle.
Get all suited up and make some -1 performance checks.
Good advantage, but yeah.